High school spring sports were in full swing across the state following last year's lost season.
And for one local softball team, the return is just extra special. News 12 Connecticut's Marissa Alter has the story.
Good morning and welcome to Foran High School.
The familiar sounds of spring ball are back. A welcome return after a longer than normal offseason.
1, 2, 3, Foran! Let's go!
It's been 2 years since Foran High School's softball team took the diamond.
Line in the left center field, that's going to be a base hit.
And today, as they face Jonathan Law High School, there's an added excitement for the first game because of where they're playing. A new field named for an old player.
She was probably individually the most talented player I've ever coached. Quick hands, Judy.
Jeff Bovino has coached a lot of kids over the years, including 35 football players who made the NFL, but he says no one like Danni Kemp. Danni was a 4-year starter for Foran, playing catcher and shortstop or whatever was needed until she graduated in 2015.
She could throw the ball harder than anybody. She could run faster than anybody. She could play any position that you wanted to put her at. She could bunt. She could hit for power. There wasn't anything that she couldn't do.
That included getting a scholarship to play Division I ball at Stony Brook University. After a successful first season there, Danni came home for the summer and played for the Stratford Brakettes. During a game in July, she got hit in the head with a pitch.
It wasn't a terrible hit. She laughed on her way down to first base.
Shortly after that, she started experiencing some dizziness.
Then her balance was off, so we're like, well, maybe you did get a concussion.
Parents Melinda and Cliff Kemp brought Danni to see a specialist.
They were convinced also that it was a serious concussion, but wanted to rule everything out. So they did a CAT scan and an MRI, and that's the day that we'll never forget.
I knew when the nurse came out to get Cliff and I that something was wrong.
Danni was diagnosed with DIPG.
Yeah, it's an inoperable brain tumor that's in the pons region of your brain, which essentially controls pretty much everything.
Like 1% of children diagnosed, 1% make it to 5 years, and the typical life expectancy is 7 to 9 months.
So as a parent, you're like, oh my gosh, my heart sank.
But Danni didn't care about the prognosis. She wanted to fight. She posted the news on Facebook, writing, "God gives his toughest battles to his toughest soldiers."
And that was her attitude. I'm going to beat this. So we're like, okay, that's the attitude that we have to have.
She taught us how to do this, how to handle it, deal with it. We just followed her lead.
Danni fought with a growing team behind her.
She was fearless. She was absolutely fearless. She never wanted anybody to feel bad for her.
Danni's story became Milford's story, then the softball communities.
We play for DK!
Teams around the country wore Danni Strong t-shirts and bracelets in her favorite shade of blue. Well wishes even came from athletes like softball great Jenny Finch.
I have boxes and boxes of cards from colleges from all over the United States. The U.S. Olympic team did a Zoom for her. The softball Olympic team, they were amazing.
Hi! Oh my God, hi!
Fundraisers and donations helped the Kemps try any possible treatment.
You do a lot of praying. I mean, at least we did. And forgive me, because it gets upsetting, but the one thing we wished was that if he was going to take her peacefully, and he did.
She passed on March 10th, 2017. So it took our perfectly healthy Division I athlete, it took her in 7 months.
I'm going to be quite honest, I was crushed. I mean, to this, I'm still crushed.
It's been just over 4 years since Danni died. The events in her honor have continued, now raising money to find a cure for DIPG so one day it won't be a death sentence.
We feel her presence, we feel her around us all the time.
Especially on this sunny Saturday in April.
It's amazing to see her name out there.
At a special dedication ceremony right before the first game on Danni Kemp Memorial Field.
The foundation for the building of this field was built upon the pride and love that so many people in our Milford Public Schools community and beyond shared for this special young woman.
I know she'd be so proud, but she'd also be so, so humbled by it.
She would have said, what's the big fuss?
She was the big fuss. Foran High School reinforced that by also retiring Danni's number 8 jersey.
Thank you for being here as we officially open the Danni Kemp Memorial Field. Play ball.
And with that, the crosstown rivals faced off on a field named after a former local star. A field that will inspire future female athletes to play with passion and battle to the end.
She loved this game so much, and she worked hard at it, but she had fun. And I think the backstop says it all. Play like Danni.
In Milford, Marissa Alter, News 12 Connecticut.